everybody! Today I'm going to do something a little bit different for you. Instead of giving tips or advice on something, I'm going to do the Authortube Newbie Tag. Now, I wasn't actually tagged by anyone to do this, but I decided to do it anyway. I thought it might be a good way for everyone to get to know me a little bit better since I am new to YouTube. Let's get started. Number 1. How did you find out about Authortube? So a few years ago, I was actually on YouTube and I was looking through videos trying to find any videos that I could from other writers, whether that was just talking about their writing in general or any writing tips or advice. The videos that I found, I really didn't care for. They were really boring, or the person that was doing the video was very monotone, and I just couldn't take it. Eventually, I came across Jenna Moreski's videos. Now, Jenna's videos were much different. They were much more lively and fun to watch than any of the other videos that I had found at that point. So I suppose this is when I discovered Authortube, but I don't think that I knew a term for it. I don't think that I heard the term Authortube until probably the past 6 months. So I guess it depends on how you look at it. I either discovered Authortube a few years ago when I found Jenna Moreski, or I discovered Authortube as far as knowing the name for it a few months ago. Number 2, what genres do you write in? So I don't like to just write in one genre. I like to write in a variety of genres. However, I guess my top 2 genres would be sci-fi and fantasy. The novel that I'm working on currently is actually a fantasy novel. And the reason for this is that I like to write things that are outside of our reality. So writing a historical novel or a romance set in our time or something like that is really not my thing. I like things that have magical elements, or with sci-fi, tech that we don't currently have, or something with a paranormal twist. I'm into vampires, witches, ghosts, that kind of stuff, and I really always have been. Those are just the things that interest me the most when it comes to writing and creating characters and worlds. Don't ask me why, maybe I'm just weird like that. Number 3, what is your preferred writing, tense, point of view, and category of story? Children's, YA, NA, adult, etc. For me, I prefer to write in third person, past tense. Now, I've tried to write in first person, point of view before, and I just can't do it. It's really hard for me to write in first person, and it just feels incredibly awkward. So, third person is just what is best for me. It's what I enjoy writing in. It's the one that flows the best. And I know that there are some writers out there who feel this way about first person point of view. First person is what they always do, or almost always do. It's what they really prefer to do. And hey, power to them for being able to do it, because I really just can't. Now, as far as the category of story, I could see myself writing in YA, but I just prefer to write in NA or adult novels. The reason for this is that writing in NA or adult just fits better with the things that I want to write, the kind of elements I want to have. Not only are my characters new adults or adults, but I want to be able to include elements of violence. I actually wrote something last night which was very bloody and gory, which might not be appropriate for a YA audience. Number 4, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? Now, let me start this off by saying that I think the term plantser is very weird. I understand that they're combining the term plotter and pantser together, but I don't know, I guess to me it just sounds weird. However, I suppose maybe that term would apply to me. I used to always be a pantser when it came to my writing. I would get an idea and I'd just go with it. I would just start writing without anything really planned out for me to work from. But with my new novel, I am creating character profiles and creating an outline for it. So maybe you could say that I'm a plotter because that's what I'm doing now with this new novel. But I don't know, maybe people would still call me a plantser because I'm still kind of getting used to making outlines and character profiles and really having everything written out and ready for me to work from. Number 5, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published. I do plan on self-publishing though, so there's that. Number 6. What publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? I do not have a dream publishing house or literary agent, especially because I plan to self-publish. So I guess if I really had to answer, maybe I would say that my dream publishing house is Sadie, or I am my dream literary agent, because I'm going to be doing all this work myself. Number 7. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? I plan to have a variety of videos on my channel. Some are going to be motivational and productivity based, because this is something that can apply to a wide audience and can absolutely apply to other writers. Other than that, I plan on having videos with writing tips and advice, and eventually I will probably have some videos based around my own writing if anyone's interested in hearing about my work as it gets closer to publication. Down the road, I'd like to also do day in the life videos and have videos where I do giveaways. The giveaways won't happen for a while. I would like to have more subscribers before that happens. So if you know anyone that would like to watch videos on motivation, productivity, and writing, and possibly see videos that show a day in my life as far as my writing, my kids, and my other creative passions, then tell them to subscribe. The next 2 questions actually go hand in hand. They are number 8 and number 9. Number 8 is, when did you start writing? And number 9 is, what was the first story you ever wrote? I don't remember the exact age that I started to write, but I think that it was around age 8. The first story was about a young boy who nurses a hurt squirrel back to health, and really some of that story idea just came from the fact that at the time squirrels were my favorite animal. The other story that I started to write was actually because I had this notebook that was a Lisa Frank notebook. So if you know what those are, you can get the picture in your head of Lisa Frank products. I had a notebook that had a picture of a dog on the cover, like a white, shaggy dog, very colorful. I think there were like pearls around the dog's neck or somewhere around the cover. I don't remember exactly. But I had this notebook, and just seeing the dog on the cover is what, I don't know, gave me the inspiration for the story, I suppose. So in that notebook, I started to write a story about a dog who was abandoned and was trying to make it on its own. It was wandering around, dirty, starving, drinking from dirty rain puddles, and the story was eventually going to lead to it finding a family. But I never finished it. If you want to know about the first real novels that I started to write, though, and not just the silly kid stories, there are 2 that really come to mind. The first one I started to write when I was around 12, I think, somewhere in there. But it was a fantasy novel. I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to say too much more because it's something that I want to adapt into a full-length novel and possibly a series. So maybe in the future you'll hear about that. The other one was a vampire novel. I know, these days vampires are kind of overdone, but I can't help it. I love vampires. My sister even got me a vampire encyclopedia years ago because she knew how much I was into vampires. I don't know if I'll continue writing that vampire novel or if I'll start to rewrite it or not, but either way, don't hate on me because I like vampires. It's just the way I am. I like the supernatural stuff. Always have, always will. Number 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? I don't know that any particular author has inspired my writing in that way, but more novels and stories as a whole. When I started to read when I was younger, it didn't take long and I loved reading. I really loved just getting lost in these fantastic worlds that the authors would create. It was a great escape, but eventually I started to wonder, how the stories would change if just one small detail in the story changed. What would happen if the person took the left path instead of the right path? Or what if they hadn't kissed this person, but they kissed that person instead? Any little thing, really, because the smallest of things could change the story drastically. However, I think that this might be part of what inspired me to write. The idea of creating a novel that I want to read. Not that I haven't read books that I am very satisfied with, because I have, obviously. I've read many books over the years, and I have read many that I love. But I do like the idea of creating my own characters and creating my own world and really turning it into my own. Number 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? This question is actually kind of funny because I think it was just last week that I did a training on creating a daily writing schedule. I haven't implemented this schedule yet because I'm actually coming up on a pretty big move. I'm going to be moving from Nevada to Arizona, but I will implement my daily writing schedule once I'm down there and I'm really settled in. At the moment though, I just kind of write whenever I can, but some of this writing has been pretty consistent because I'm part of a monthly membership where once a week we get together on Facebook, and for 2 hours we will do a write-in. During the write-in, we will have 20-minute writing sprints, and I try to join these anytime that I really can. If I have something that interferes with it and I absolutely cannot do it, I might go back to it later and watch the replay. But otherwise, this gives me at least 1 day a week where I am writing. Number 12. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? These days, I do my writing from a computer. I wish that I had a working typewriter, but I don't. And even if I did, I wouldn't do all my writing on the typewriter. The typewriter would probably just be for specific little things, fun projects or something. So at the moment, all my writing is done on my computer, but I do take certain notes by hand because I do enjoy actually physically writing things out. So if I'm brainstorming names for places in my novel or even for people, I will jot those down on a notebook and write it all out because it allows me to see it and I have that more physical interaction of actually writing it out. And sometimes I'll actually do this when I'm stuck on a part of my novel as well. Maybe I have an idea for how the novel's gonna go, like the next scene, but if it's something that I'm kind of stuck on, sometimes I'll write it out by hand, write out what I know I'm gonna do or what I think I'm gonna do, and then sometimes I'll write questions to myself to get myself thinking so that I can catch anything that might get confusing to a reader or any holes there might be. And where do I write in general? Well, that really depends on the day and how I'm feeling overall. Some days I'll sit in bed with a whole bunch of pillows propped up behind my back, and that's where I'll do my writing. Other times I'll work from my desk, and sometimes I'll sit on the couch, and that's where I'll write. Occasionally I'll write at the kitchen table, but it's really not as common for me. And I'm really not one of those people to go to a bookstore or a coffee shop to do my writing. I know that some writers, this is really their go-to location to get their writing done, but for me, I think it'd be a little bit awkward because I've just never done it before, and I do have some anxiety, especially trying new things like that. And aside from that, I think that it'd just be too distracting. I tend to like to write in silence, and I think that trying to do my writing in, say, a Barnes & Noble or a Starbucks would just be too loud. I think there'd be too much going on, and if I were to try to write in one of those places, I think I'd have to bring my earplugs with me to help drown out the noise and be able to fully focus on whatever work I have brought with me. And number 13, what are you looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? I suppose part of what I'm looking forward to is connecting with other writers, because I know that there's a huge online community of writers out there, and I feel like Authortube is a good way to stay connected. And I know that some AuthorTubers actually are friends and maybe even critique partners with each other. But even aside from something like that, it seems like a lot of AuthorTubers will collaborate with one another and do tags like this one, and they'll tag the other AuthorTubers that they know. And something like that would be great. I would love to be more involved with the other writers, more of the AuthorTubers. And aside from that, I would also like to be able to connect to other people in general. Anyone who would benefit from my advice, and connecting with readers would be great as well, because I am working on a novel, and it would be great to have people watch these videos and be interested in my book. And especially because in the future, I will be looking for beta readers. So if you know someone who's an avid reader and might be interested in reading a fantasy novel in the future, send them my way, get them to subscribe. I promise you won't regret it, they won't regret it. I'm awesome like that, and you will come to learn that yourself. That's all for today, and now I would like to tag Hannah VanGorkom to do this Authortube Newbie Tag. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right, Hannah. And I would also like to tag anyone else that is new to the Authortube universe. Thank you to everyone who watched today to listen to my answers to the Authortube Newbie Tag. If you'd like to stay informed of videos that I post in the future, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any suggestions of something that you'd like to see in a future video, whether that's writing related, motivational, or something based around being productive, please leave me a comment below. And don't forget to follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter @SadieMcEwen. Thank you for watching today, and until next time, click.